Welcome to the Kingdom Doers podcast. Today I have Stacey Ansley with buildchangeimpact.com. And Stacey, thanks so much for being here. I'm excited to talk about your business today.
Thanks so much, Melissa. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
So tell me, and I know you shared a little bit on the pre-show with me about what you do, which sounds awesome. So I'd like for you to share that with our audience. What is changeimpact.com and what do you do in your business?
Absolutely. So, Build Change Impact is a business coaching and consulting firm, and it's my husband and I in the business. I primarily do the majority of the coaching, and I work with small business owners specifically who have gotten a few years into their business and realize they've actually just created a job for themselves rather than an asset. The statistics show that within the first year of starting a business, 25% of businesses fail. Within 5 years, 45% fail. And within 10 years, 65% fail.
Wow.
But I think that there's more to that story. And I don't think that they necessarily failed. I think that they have failed to create themselves an asset that they can then sell. And therefore, the business just shuts down.
Yeah.
And so I want to help prevent that. I want to make sure that your work counts.
Nice. I love that. And how would you describe your business being an asset for those who maybe have never really thought of it that way? What would it be like to think of your business as an asset?
So, what are the things that you have been intentional about developing within your business that are sellable? So, I work with people creating micro assets, whether that's the framework for their coaching business or whether it's the framework of how they acquire a client and keep a client, and that kind of to use Stu McLaren's word, success path of walking them through the journey. And so anything that you have that is a visual model, that is anything that these micro assets, they all start compiling upon each other. And so therefore, one day down the road, when you say, you know what, this doesn't fit me anymore, someone else can say, you know what, I'd really like to do that. And I can see the value in what you've created. And that is lasting value. And I'll pay you for that.
Mm. So in essence, it's really making your business sellable, right? It's like you're scaling it to then sell it. If there's a time where you say, I'm kind of done with this, I'm ready to do something different.
Absolutely. Because if you just operate in the day to day, yes, you're making money for today, but there's no difference than having a job somewhere. And so I want to make sure, because we all know that if you're a small business owner, you're probably putting in more than 40 hours a week
Yeah.
at times, that
Right.
it actually counts at the end of the day. So let's be intentional about what we're building.
Mhm.
And so that's what I help folks do.
I love that. I saw a meme. I don't know if you saw this being passed around several years ago. It said, I quit my 40-hour a week job to build my own business working 150 hours a week or something crazy." And I was like, at the time when I read that, I'm like, that's me, like, what am I doing? So I love that you say this because it's like, it's so common where we think, oh, well, I'm going off doing my own thing and it's going to be easier. But if we don't have the systems in place or strategies, as you say, then really, like you said, then we're just taking on another job that's actually more work and maybe less profitable, right?
Absolutely. And if anyone's watching the video on my side, you'll see that there's an airplane.
Hmm.
And I am a certified business made simple coach. And that's Donald Miller of Story Brand Framework. And he talks about building your business like an airplane. And so there's 6 parts to an airplane, and we want to make sure you have all 6 parts. But a lot of people start off with day one and try and build a 747, but you're maybe the only person in your business. And guess what? One person cannot operate a 747. They can't be the whole flight crew, and they can't be, the flight attendants and all of the things. And so I
Yeah.
really talk about, like, let's be intentional and build that Cessna. And guess
Mm.
what? Airplanes keep value too. We can trade them in. Let's just keep
Right.
trading in and get a bigger airplane along the way. And so that's what
Oh,
I
nice.
want people to really understand, is the power of, you don't have to do it all on day one. There are very intentional steps as you build your business.
Mhm.
And kind of how I came into this is, I actually was in full-time ministry for years and years and years. So
Wow.
I worked for Wycliffe Bible Translators.
Oh yeah.
And then I was on staff with the Ministry of Young Life for over 10 years.
Oh wow, nice.
And when my husband and I got married and we had our child, Young Life is an incredible ministry, but
Yeah.
anyone working in ministry knows that it's really time consuming, and
Yeah.
especially when you do something that is so summer camp based.
Yeah.
That first summer with our little one, I was like, I don't know how much longer I could do this. And so we started our first business, and it was a side thing for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I think this is it. And so I stepped away from full-time ministry and into the business, and over the next few years really started growing that. And then people within the industry started saying, wait a minute, tell me how you're growing so quickly. What are you doing? How is this working? You know, all that sort of stuff. So I
Yeah.
started coaching them, and it just grew and grew and grew. And so that first business, we actually sold to a national franchise in 2019. And
Wow.
since 2014, I've been coaching small business owners on just really these frameworks that are so essential that if you can just nail them right, um, it's it's not super complicated, but it's intentional.
Yeah. Wow. That's an amazing story. And I love how, it kind of just took on its own path, right? Like I didn't really expect to be doing this. It's just kind of just to happen naturally. Like you just started showing people how to do what you were doing, and then it
Yeah.
turned into coaching, and then that led to all the other things after. And I love that you're bringing up how to be successful as a coach. And you haven't directly said that, but really essentially that's what you're doing is you're teaching people where I teach other coaches, I certify other coaches, and I see a lot of people, maybe over half of them just don't do anything with their coaching certification. Yet they start off with this big dream and they're like, this is what I want to do, but they just don't have the tools, the business strategies, the mindset to continue to go forward in carrying out this big dream. So if you were to talk to somebody who is a coach who say just is going on their path of coaching, what would you say would be the very first step of what they quote unquote should be doing to get their business on the right direction towards success?
So I would say it is about funnels, but it's not about funnels the way you see out there. You
Mm,
are probably getting in your inbox 5 to 10 people a day who are soliciting, telling you they're not going to cost you any money. They just want to run this funnel for you. And then you give them a percentage of all your sales, or all
yeah.
these different ways that are coming about but they're leading to webinars, they're leading to all of these things that are so impersonable.
Hmm.
And right now, you need to be meeting people, and you need to be adding value to their life. And
Mm,
so I have what's called the 3 C's of relational revenue. And
mm,
so that is content, conversations, and clients. And
mm,
so when you're thinking about building your business, you need to have, you need to create more than you consume when it comes to content.
mhm,
When it comes to conversations, you need to connect more than you convey. So
mm,
just have those interactions with people. And when it comes to clients, you need to cultivate more than you convert. So it's not always about getting that sale. In fact, so much of what I do is value add. Like I give
mhm,
because not only that, know, like, and trust, but from a standpoint of like, I need to earn the right to be heard. That's actually a term of Young Life. Like they don't
mhm.
know who I am.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it says I've done all of these things. I've been featured in this, but why does that matter to them? It
Mm,
doesn't until I can show them, hey, I actually care. And that's one of the things that really matters is, caring about their business like it's your own.
yeah.
Um, and so that has been a big determining factor. And then listening to your clients. I used to think that my clients needed to meet with me 1 hour a week, like on these Zoom calls and all this sort of stuff. But I started noticing that, if they had a really busy week and they would come to the call and they didn't accomplish what they wanted to, they felt defeated and they
Mm,
weren't making progress forward. And so I never wanted them to feel like that. Life gets busy, it gets messy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've really structured my coaching now to meet them where they're at. So I do quarterly like VIP day with them, and we set
Mm,
out what the quarter is going to look like. And then we'll do like Voxer check-in or whatever that meets their needs, rather
yeah.
than just being like, oh, this is what it needs to be. No, we do build out your business strategically,
Mm.
but we also need to do it in such a way that empowers the client to take charge of their life and their business.
I really like that a lot. And how you said you're really catering it to their needs and setting them up for success, because I've been there, I'm sure we've all been there with another coach of like, oh, I didn't accomplish what I needed to get done. And yeah, you do, you feel defeated. You feel like a failure. You feel like I'm wasting my money, all these
Yeah.
things. And so if you have somebody that's there to like walk you through the process and go, let's do this together, what an amazing value that is to have that for your business. So I could definitely see why that would stand you apart for sure.
Yeah. And I love when my clients report in. So I do use Voxer coaching a
Yeah.
lot. And so I love at the end of the week when they send me that Voxer of this is everything I got done this week. And this is like,
Mm,
because we want to stack wins. We want to be encouraged of this is what we accomplished. And
mhm.
sometimes I do have to go back and say, hey, it sounds like you did a lot, but I don't know that those were revenue generating things. That was like, I tinkered on my website and I did this and like, let's make
Yeah.
sure that we're doing the right things, because as a coach, you hired me to help you strategically build it out. So we'll just get on
Yeah.
recourse, on course again.
Mhm.
But yeah, they
That's
win.
very
And I
cool.
love seeing that.
Yeah, and that drives you too, right? It's like, I know as
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
coach, when your clients are successful, you're like, let's do this again. Right? Who's
Absolutely.
next?
Yeah,
That's
I use
amazing.
a lot of mountains in my visuals, which is funny because I do live in Florida now, and my highest elevation is our county dump. But I'm originally from California, and specifically the Sierra Mountains of Lake Tahoe area. And so I love mountains as visuals. And I
Mm,
always say, like, I don't want to be dragging my clients up the mountain. Like, I can't. I've got enough. I've got a almost 13-year-old. My husband and I, like, we have
yeah.
busy lives. We've got a little shih tzu dog who, wants to
Oh.
yap at everything. We're still trying to train. And so, like, we've got a lot going on too. I don't have time to go back and pull someone else up the mountain.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I love that visual. And before I want to pivot to faith, but while we're here, because I was going to ask you about visuals, so we'll come back to the faith aspect in a second. But segueing from that, the coaching aspect of what you were talking about, from the ministry to the coaching.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, as with your background and everything, how well, actually, it's just naturally going to the faith. So let's go here
Yeah.
first, and then we'll go back to the visual aspect. But naturally, I'm sure ministry is in your blood, just from your past and just that calling that you've
Yeah.
had. And even though you're not directly doing full-time ministry anymore, I'm sure it's shaped you in the way that you do business. And can you share a little bit about how your faith impacts the way that you do business and run your business and meet with people?
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't say I'm a Christian coach at all. I'm just a coach. But my faith does obviously play a part in everything. In fact, I have a client who is not a Christian right now, who this last week Voxered me a book for my husband and son to read, and said, and it aligns well with your faith. And I was so touched by that, like that she
Wow.
would think of that. And so that she knows that enough about me, not that I'm out there,
Mhm.
preaching the gospel to her at all, but that she
Yeah.
would pay attention to that and seek
Mhm.
that. And so again, it's about just earning the right to be heard. But
Mm.
in my business, like I said, I give a lot away for free because I know that there will be that time in their business when they say, hey, you know what? I do want some extra help. And I don't want to be that person landing in their DMs. I'm not that at all. I want them just to know that I'm there, that I care. And when
Mhm.
they're ready, I would like to help them because I've helped lots of other people. So why not you, kind of thing.
Right.
And so in my own community, I host coffee chats.
Mm.
And so it is women who are small business owners, and we started meeting over a year ago. We do it every other week on a Tuesday evening because that's when my son's at basketball practice,
Mhm.
and I don't need to watch practice and the game. I'm good
Yeah.
with just watching the game.
Right.
And so I'm at Starbucks next door while he's at basketball practice. And so it just grew from there. And I come with a topic and I say, hey, this week we're going to talk about, what's the best marketing experience you've had with someone, or what's the best customer service, or, and we talk about it from the standpoint of being the customer, and then what has been your successes in your business and all that sort of stuff. And so just really allowing the women to build community. I mean, this year we did a Friendsgiving, and it was just all
Um,
these women, and some are believers and some are not. And so that was incredible. And so that consistency of showing up, and more people come, and some people will not make it every week, but then there's some people, that every time that they're going to be there. And so
yeah.
um creating community, and a lot of those ladies have become clients.
Wow.
And that's been really powerful too.
That is really cool. Yes, the power of community is so, like you said, it's everything, and you look at scripture, it's like, why did Eve come around? Because man, it's not good for man to be alone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just in intimate relationships, but just in community in general, with in our work, in our business, in our, our friend space, our family space. So yeah, that makes a massive difference when you have someone to fellowship with. And also, I like what you said about just being generous. You're just giving.
Yeah.
And wasn't Christ like the most generous person? Like he gave everything he had, right? His time, his prayer, his resources. He showed up for people, and I think that's a really powerful example to model and to live by. And like you said, you don't even have to say I'm Christian. It's just that people will recognize it by your fruits, right?
Yeah.
People see that and go, oh, there's something different about Stacey. And they know it, and you don't have to like be in their face about it, it's really powerful to be a witness like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So, going now back to the visual part of your business, because that caught my attention when I was looking at your website, that it's very visual storytelling based, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and why it's so powerful?
Absolutely. So, being part of Donald Miller's community, obviously with Story Brand, we talk a lot about how story is so powerful, but I also think that imagery is just as equally powerful when combined in story. So I talk about it as visual storytelling. And so that's why I love visual models, because it's just this aha moment of like, okay, you're going to take me from here to there, or this, what is that transformation going to look like? Or how can we accomplish this? And so I love all aspects of that. And I think that it, no matter what industry, there are ways to create these visual models that really help your clients, your customers, or whatever understand what you want to do. So I've helped everything from a karate studio to an infectious disease practice to, and
Wow.
that's the thing is like, they're always like, you need to niche down as a business, like as a coach. Well, yes, but I've chosen to do so by a stage of business,
Mhm.
as opposed to, oh, I only work with gym owners, or I only work with chiropractors.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. That's great that you point that out, because in coaching, it can be very generalized, but it's your technique, it's the way that you do things. That's your niche, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Stacey, you shared so many great nuggets with us, and thank you so much for sharing your business, sharing your faith, and I wish you many blessings on your path, and I hope that many people who are looking for you can find you. And with that being said, who should be looking for you, and where can they find you?
Absolutely. Well, I would say if you are a small business owner and you find that you may have just created yourself a job rather than an asset, head on over to my page. There is a 10-minute business assessment that you can take, and it'll really show you if you're building an airplane, or if you're trying to build a rocket, or whatever you think you may be building. So I would
Yeah.
encourage you to go over there. You'll be able to see the assessment. And then I do run free book clubs
Oh,
on Donald Miller's How to Grow Your Small Business book. And so
nice.
it happens over Zoom, and we go through the book in 4 weeks over Zoom, 1 hour sessions, and really dive into the frameworks so that you can start implementing them within your business.
I love that. I might actually join that book club. That sounds great.
There we
And
go.
do you just go to your website and sign up there?
Absolutely. It's on the
Okay.
bottom, yeah, of the
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Great. Well, I will post your site on our description in our description box, and it's buildchangeimpact.com. So check
Yes.
out Stacey and her work. And if you need to build more strategy in your business, get out of being a job, having a job, which a lot of us need, then definitely go visit Stacey's website. So Stacey, thank you so much for being here, and we really wish you the best on all your endeavors.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Really enjoyed it.